This is On Hand, a podcast that luxuriates in all the things that make Michigan a unique place to live. I'm April Baer. In our last episode, we braved the messy world of road maintenance in Michigan. Yeah, it's not great. And we've talked about all the factors that make it challenging for crews to keep roads maintained.
When I lived out east, I never ever experienced the amount of road construction or poor road conditions that we experience in Michigan. And it makes me wonder, why are the roads so bad here?
Potholes and poor maintenance, endless construction.
So our construction season is very short, and so we have to put a lot of projects into a short window.
But there's one thing we didn't talk about. Some of what moves over our roads is supersized. When we asked for your stories about the damn roads and fixing them, we got a lot of messages about weight limits. I'm going to read you just part of one of them, a very detailed message from a listener named Janet in Pinckney. Michigan has the highest gross truck weight limit allowed on our roads of 164,000 pounds. This weight limit is also the highest in the United States. The federal government says we need to allow at least 80,000 pounds. To make things even worse, to exceed the weight limit, a permit in 2022 cost only $50. And make it multiple trips, it was $100. Give me a break. In 2017, MDOT issued nearly 109,000 permits to exceed the weight limit. Michigan citizens are the ones paying with taxes to fix these damn roads, and it's not even their vehicles doing the damage. Michigan should lower their truck weight guidelines before repairing any roads. We will be back in 10 years repairing. Janet has a point. The federal government has these standards that all trucks should be carrying a maximum of 80,000 pounds on interstate highways. However, states are allowed to permit exceptions. And in our state, the top ceiling is a whopper, 164,000 pounds. In Michigan, there are reasons why businesses want that. Manufacturing and other businesses move a lot of cargo on Michigan highways. This has worked out for industries like automotive, which moves vehicle components back and forth across the border with Canada. And it's not just manufacturing. Agriculture sends heavyweight trucks out on the roads too. So is this system actually making the roads worse? We called up Craig Atwood. He's managing director of the Allegan County Road Commission to talk about it.
We maintain about 1,800 miles of road. Most of those are pretty rural. I would say kind of the lower tier of the traffic volumes, but we do have some higher volume primary roads in the more urbanized areas of the county.
How are the needs different from, where you are on the west side of the state to places that have a heavy flow of manufacturing traffic, like Wayne County or other spots where there are crossings between the U.S. and Canada?
Yeah, definitely differences around really every county in the state is unique in its own sense and the types of traffic that it sees. We're I would say mostly agricultural type county. You get over to Wayne County and it's more commercial, industrial, just way higher volumes than what we're dealing with. And you go farther north and you see a lot more of the logging traffic. Again, every road commission has a little bit of different animal to deal with that. Both the weight limits, the types of traffic, but also the traffic volumes that we're working with.
Some folks may be aware that the federal government has this guideline of weight limits of 80,000 pounds per truck. But states have some leeway of their own, and Michigan can and does issue oversized permits. Are heavy loads a big strain on the kind of pavements that we tend to use to build roads today?
Yeah, they definitely have an impact. Like you said, we do allow some pretty heavy loads here. There's kind of two ways to look at that. Like when we're doing like a paving project, we have to haul the hot mix asphalt to the job site. Well, in Michigan, we can use what are called flow boys. So they're large, many axle trailers with a conveyor in the bottom They can haul about 50 tons of asphalt mix to a project. So we're getting one of those trucks. Other states allow smaller loads. So you maybe need 5 smaller trucks to get the same amount of material there. So we're dealing with probably less trucks for something like that, but higher weights per truck. One of our biggest concerns, talking with the Michigan Department of Transportation now, is trying to deal with some of these heavy loads over our bridges that we have. When we're getting at least some of those overweight loads, making sure they have a safe route to travel without doing damage to some of our infrastructure. But we're just limited on, the funding we have available sometimes and how robust we can build the roads to the traffics that they're trying to hold.
From an engineering perspective, how much can you do to help the roads that have to bear so much weight?
Well, one thing is just trying to keep them in as good a condition as we can. The pavement surface, for sure, but also just the base and how you build those roads from the start. Again, there's going to be limitations on funding constraints and what you can do. I mean, there's roads that we would love to be able to put a bunch more money into to build a little beefier and heavier duty to handle some of those loads, but we just don't have the funding to do that.
I understand that you're an engineer, and an engineer's perspective is to just figure out the problem, not to set policy. But I mean, from your perspective, do you think that Michigan should have a lower ceiling for how much weight trucks can carry on our roads?
You could either look at a lower weight limit, or if we had the funding we needed, we could design roads to handle the loads. I think that's the biggest thing, is just being able to build the roads to carry the weight that they need to. So one or the other would be great. It's not, it comes with pluses and negatives for everything, but I don't know. We're seeing a lot of heavy loads on our roads for sure, and we're trying to do the best that we can with what we have to make sure those roads can carry that. And it's just tough to try and design roads for what they're taking on them. I get the perspective from a lot of people that they think once you pave a road, it's going to be good for 50 years. And that's not the case. We have minimal concrete roads here. So we primarily deal with an asphalt surface. And, generally that road, even if it's brand new, needs some type of preventive maintenance, in the first 10 years or so. We're actually trying to do more of that earlier to try and keep that surface in as good a condition as we can. Use the funding we have to take care of the roads the best we can, and people don't realize how much it costs to actually take care of a road, and two, how often you need to do work on them to try and keep them in good condition.
Craig Atwood is Managing Director of the Allegan County Road Commission. He also chairs the Engineering Commission for the Michigan County Roads Association. We received several other interesting comments. Listener Albert writes, I do a fair amount of driving around the Detroit metro area. The other day I traveled a series of roads on my way to several destinations, and as I recall, did not use a road that was not partially blocked off for one thing or another. The low quality of patching is adding wide ruts or freshly but minimally filled new potholes, sometimes in roads that had been in decent shape. Who is responsible for the patching? Still another listener named Kenny writes, my theory is something mixed with the liquid or salt that is causing damage to our roads, and it's probably a hush money issue. And still another anonymous listener gets to what is, in my mind, the real question, quoting here, why are road construction projects taking place within a 15-mile radius of each other that bottlenecks all detours into another construction project? Preach. That's all for this edition of On Hand. Please do send us your Michigan questions, your pushback, your clapback, your controversial takes. The address is onhand@michiganpublic.org. Thanks for listening. I'm April Baer. See you next time.